What's up, guys? Justin here. Most of you know me as the owner and a coach here at Salty Hive CrossFit. We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about programming, our process for programming, why we do what we do, how we do what we do. Hopefully you get something out of this. Glitch like Jesus Christ. Yeah, I bet it is why. This is stage 2 of a 7-stage process.
And then he goes and plugs it in, and then you dream about it, and then you change it and text me, hey, I just changed the workout.
Justin Zazembo, I'm the owner of Salty Hive CrossFit. I've owned Salty Hive since 2019. I've coached at this gym. It was previously CrossFit New Life since 2015. A CrossFit level 3. I love what I do and try to be as good as I can at it. Only happens when it's right. What it means to program CrossFit, I think you got to know what CrossFit is. CrossFit is defined constantly varied functional movements performed at high intensity. The goal of producing fitness, which is increasing your work capacity across broad time and modal domains. I know that sounds like a lot, but that's, if you're looking at a program that is going to put the stamp of CrossFit on it, it should be those things: varied, intense, functional movements, right? And it should produce the goal of being fit. So I think there's a lot that I can say about that, but the simplest way is you're producing fitness in a simplistic but thought out, elegant manner. I do my own programming. I get that question a lot, especially from people outside of Salty Hive, because I would say it's not typical, it's atypical for an owner to do their own programming, especially these days. You have a lot of people out there doing programming, offering programming for affiliates that are really good at it. Rich Froning, Matt Frazier, to name a couple, right? I do my own programming mostly because I want to be in control. That's just kind of my personality. I know my members. Rich Froning might be a better CrossFit programmer than me, but he doesn't know Salty Hive, and he doesn't know the members. He doesn't know the people that come in here, doesn't know what they're capable of or what their limitations may be. That would be number one. Is I think I'm the best person to program for Salty Hive and the needs that exist within the gym. Secondarily to knowing what everybody needs is I love programming. Like when I look at Two Brain Business or Best Hour of Their Day in terms of like business mentorship, how to be the best CrossFit affiliate owner, the first thing they're recommending is outsourcing your programming. And that's the first thing that I look forward to doing on a week-to-week basis. Like in terms of my accounting and cleaning or membership reach out or my books, any of that stuff, in terms of what I get excited about doing is secondary to programming. And I'm not just an affiliate owner, I'm a coach first. I have had the goal of being on seminar staff. I had the goal of getting my level 3. I passed my level 3 test. And part of being a good coach is understanding programming, being able to program. So I didn't want to give up programming, at least until I got my level 3. But even with the level 3, my level 3, it's something that I don't ever foresee myself giving up. What's my process for programming? Let's keep the CrossFit theme, it varies. Maybe it varies too much, but I think what Samantha and I have created over the last year or so is something that's effective, it's fresh, we both put our eyes on it at some point for most of the workouts. I'd say at least 50% of the workouts we're collaborating. I wish I remember what I did to begin with, but I remember a big turning point for me with programming, and I can like see the coaches' faces like in the coaches' meeting, but we had some benchmarks that weren't as outlined as they are now, and that was the first thing I did that gave me some direction. As I spent a lot of time deciding which benchmarks we were going to choose, whether that's the ones that I think are good tests, or if we have a short one, I need a long one. If we have a light one, I need a heavy one. If we have a couplet, I need a triplet. If we don't have one with toes to bar, I need one with toes to bar. If we don't have enough with jump rope, I need some with jump rope. So I spent a lot of time and got feedback from people in terms of the benchmarks that we have are a complete and total test, or a well-rounded array of tests. And so I use the benchmarks as the cornerstone. So we try to do a benchmark a week on average. Samantha and I, let's say about a year ago, decided to group the benchmarks into three groups. So each group has a strength test, like the front squat, back squat, or overhead squat. Each benchmark has like a quick one like Fran or Jackie or whatnot. So each group there's 6 benchmarks in each of one of these 3 groups, and they're all pretty balanced. And then we do our fall and our spring benchmarks that have running. Those sit by themselves, and then there's a couple other that sits by themselves. Our holiday, we do the Salty 50 around New Year's and then around Trisha's birthday, so that's exactly 6 months apart. So laying out the benchmarks, creating benchmarks, coming up with benchmarks allowed me to have a little bit more structure in my routine. So I start with the benchmark, and then I decide from there what strength piece I want to hit that week, or 2 strength pieces. But then after that, it's like one brush stroke and try to get the week covered with couplets, triplets, long, short, heavy, all the things that I kind of mentioned, and then back at it, go over it, see if I like it. There's a lot of processes. Step 1 is Samantha and I get together, throw it on that whiteboard. Step 2 is me then looking at the whiteboard, which usually takes place in my home office. Step 3 is then taking it from the whiteboard to be on the whiteboard, to adding it to the app to be on the whiteboard. And then oftentimes I then come back and add the athlete notes to that. So of all those steps, things can change. Like, we're gonna write stuff we've already erased and rewrote things and changed days. When I go back to the home office, Castro might throw something on .com that I absolutely love and want to hit, so I might replace that with one of these pieces or whatever. And then when I sit down and put it on Beyond the Whiteboard, a couple things can happen. Is what we've come up with might not fit into their little categories very well, so I might have to adjust it. Or as I'm writing it, I'm like, wow, we just did a workout with sets of 15 wall balls in Salty Karen, so instead of 15, we're gonna go 25 today. And just to add to the variance. I heard somebody recently say, and I think it must have been Boz or Pat Sherwood, say that programming's never finished. Even when the workout's on the board and the coach is briefing it, it's never done. As Glassman say, the art is in the programming, and I'm passionate about that. It's coaching is a craft. Part of that craft is programming, and it's the fun part. It's the part that you can be artistic and be creative and try different things. And so, just like a artist would never be done with a painting, you could always fine tune and perfect little things. That I feel the same way about programming. So last Monday, this is an example of things never being done. I was talking to Olivia, Coach Liv. We did a 6-minute AMRAP, rest 3 minutes, 6-minute AMRAP that was the exact same. And while people were doing it, I was like, dang, it would have been really fun. We had a list of 6 movements that you worked through as many times as you could for 6 minutes. And I thought it would have been cool if we did that this way and then rest 3 minutes and then come backwards in reverse. So start with the last movement and then work your way up the list. And it would have been the same idea, same movement, same stimulus, but just a little bit of a tweak. So like, that's a great example of things are never done. I'm fine tuning and always trying to be self-critical and ask people for feedback on what they like, what they don't like. Samantha, has been in here as an athlete for a long time. She's always showed a lot of dedication to this gym as an athlete and a member. And then after my gymnastics course, she struggled with some gymnastic pieces, and so I offered to do some one-on-ones with her to try out some of the things that I learned. And I think I can speak for myself, but I think that experience of being coached so closely kind of sparked an interest of her maybe a little bit more in the coaching process. And so at that point, right around that time, I asked her to jump on board with the Salty Hive coaching crew. So we call ourselves the coaching crew. And she's absolutely ran with it since then. Emotional, but yeah, very grateful for Samantha. I've said multiple times to her that if I could change anything, I would have asked her to coach a long time ago, long before when she started coaching. But ever since she's come on board, she's just raised the level of give a shit, professionalism, accountability, perfectionism in our coaching staff. So, yeah, I hope and wish every affiliate owner has a coach like Samantha on their staff. Sorry, that sucks. You recorded that shit.